I want to play that Santa Kagura game at some point. I want to HD Rumble massage girls. Become the HD Rumble massage man. It's Mighty Gunvolt Burst, sequel to Mighty Gunvolt. If you don't know, like the original Mighty Gunvolt was kind of like a weird. I think it was like a side game that was a part of the Mighty No.9, like Kickstarter thing. So basically, that was like some pretty simple Mega Man style levels with just kind of a, I don't know, it's a fun little bonus thing. Like Beck had a weird tackle, and Gunvolt had like a weird energy thing that shot in front of him. But it was all, I think it was all of it was based off the Gunvolt stages. So in Mighty Gunvolt Burst, it's all based off the Mighty No.9 stages. So let's go ahead and jump into City. Yeah, the Santa Kagura director left Marvelous because apparently he was unhappy with getting like all the restrictions and stuff from PlayStation Network stuff, or not PlayStation Network, but like Sony's new guidelines and things like that. That's causing them to not be able to do as much with you know, lewd content, which is exactly what he wants to do. So, but yeah, so for the most part, this just controls like a normal little Mega Man game. You jump, you know, shoot. Instead of E-tanks, there's like these little fruit you can collect around, so they're not like as big as you know, a full heal or anything like that. But you can basically collect about 5 or 10 to 20 fruit. I think you can kind of use them as healing items. The kind of the main gimmick of this game, which seems very like inspired from Mighty No.9, is with Mighty No.9 you kind of like dash into enemies, but in this game the whole point is to get up close to an enemy and when they're dead, so you get that little burst combo. So you take damage, you still get a burst combo, and then so what that combo does, honestly, I can't tell you if I know for sure. Really, I think it's a point thing. So I'm doing a great job. But yeah, so you basically just want to kill enemies like while standing up close to them. So that's kind of the main game's gimmick between all the characters. Beck himself is pretty straightforward. He's just kind of a dude. Like there's no additional abilities here or anything like that. He's just kind of this guy. The big thing is he can change weapons kind of like a normal Mega Man kind of thing as well. So he has probably the most diverse weapon set. But the interesting thing about this game is that there's actually like a gun customization system. So like this one I have here, you know, it bounces and it penetrates enemies and bounces off walls and stuff. So it just kind of goes all over the place. Versus like this one, I gave it like a spread shot property and things like that. Then there's more straightforward ones where I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna fire or whatever. So in concept, it's pretty cool, and like when you go into the actual customization menu, you kind of see like just how much is in here. Like we have the bullet type, and then also the number of bullets that'll be on screen at once, the method of fire, if it's gonna be a single shot, spread shot, trajectory, can be homing, curve, wave, pierce, like how it pierces, how the bullets disperse, like bullet size. You have to collect some of these, so some of these are empty because I haven't really collected any like attachments for that part of it. But yeah, there's just a ton of different things in here, and there's also like other special things. Like this one I have, you know, different level of knockbacks I can set, things that make it so I auto-consume food if I you know, get hurt. And you have basically in the top left corner there, you can see I have like a number of points that I can add up to for these. So it's in theory pretty interesting. I think the problem really comes down to it's just not particularly like, because you need to kill enemies so up close, there's pretty little reason to actually do anything weird. Like I could get the ones that are like homing or like has a curve shot, so I could like better hit them far away, but at the end of the day, where I want to be is right on top of them to blow them up. So I feel like it kind of goes against the spirit of that part of this game. And I also feel like the movement's just not where it needs to be to like get you close to enemies in the way you'd want to. You know, it is pretty standard, you know, Mega Man kind of movement, but like if the whole goal is to like get you as close to enemies as possible, like a dash or something would probably be valuable, but you just don't have any of that. You just kind of have a normal walk and run. So it just kind of feels a little sluggish trying to get close to enemies. But I mean, this weapon customization stuff can be pretty cool. I just really haven't found a good use for most of it. The biggest use is obviously like, you know, in true Mega Man form, the bosses have like elemental weaknesses and stuff. So, oh, this boss does not have an elemental weakness, so, or if it does, I have no idea what it is. So this is actually probably a bad boss to show it off with, but I'll show you later with another character, because the elemental weakness stuff kind of applies to everybody. One nice thing about this game, though, is that while it's not quite as like customizable as like a Mega Man 11, no, there's no Midori animation. You can't. I already tried. You can't jump into it and fly up. So, but like Mega Man 11 has a lot of like really nice customizational options for like changing, not really changing the difficulty, but like making the game easier or harder for you. Based off like giving Mega Man certain skill sets and things like that. This game just has like a an automatic retry. So if I go ahead and, I probably shouldn't die here, but there we go. I'm just gonna die. So basically, instead of losing a life, in the bottom left-hand corner, you see my retry counter went up to 1, which means that at the end of the level, I'm actually gonna get a penalty for every retry I have. So as far as I can tell, you pretty much have infinite lives. It's just, you know, the penalty you take from doing that. Also, you have unlimited ammo with every gun, so you never have to really worry about conserving any of this ammunition. You just kind of spam it and use it. I think maybe the bad thing about that is that you pretty much just sit there and like, a lot of the strategy is stand in the face of something and spam the shoot button as fast as possible. Because you have no limited amount of ammo, and the reality is most of the time you're gonna be able to burn through an enemy faster than they can burn through you. So I got minus 300 points on my score because I died. So if I ate my fruit, I would have gotten a bit benefit. So at the end of every mission, you could choose a different thing. Like the sticker is basically just like a sticker I can put on these like weapons I have. But then there's one that has like a damage reduction option that I equip to Beck. So you go ahead and you basically get stickers. You can see in the corner, the bottom right there, like, or yeah, on the bottom right, there's like these green diamonds. Those like crystals and things like that that increase your point value and stuff. So I think Beck is kind of boring, honestly, because he's just kind of like, here are my bullets, and most of the bullets aren't very useful. I think Gunvolt is a bit better. So we'll go ahead and do like a more normal stage. I'm trying to think of which stage I like. I think Highway is alright. So all these are based off the what's it called? Mighty No.9 game, where the other one was all Gunvolt stages. So basically, with Gunvolt, you actually have some additional skills here. I'm gonna sit here and die. So in the top left corner, I have like these little like yellow triangles or whatever you call them. Or rectangles, I guess. And when you use your button, you can basically have different skills attached. So right now I only have 2 skills attached, but I can basically use this to summon a skill and do that. It's nothing crazy, but in comparison to Beck, it's better than pretty much nothing. I mean, the only difference is that Gunvolt just has this one shot type, but because every shot type is kind of, at least I've found the different shot types to be kind of useless for the most part. It's been a little better playing this character because you just get more stuff. So with Beck or with Gunvolt, what I have here is like just like a full set of elemental shots for the most part. So all these pretty much look the same. There's some differences depending on when I made them. This one actually has like a charge shot, so I can hold down a charge and then shoot a different bullet. So it's like a slower bullet that explodes. So, but again, I never really found much use for that. I just kind of was like, I guess I'm just going to shoot stuff with the element they're weak against most pretty quickly. So I forgot the order of this thing. Sorry, I need to pay attention. There we go. It's a pretty short game overall, but it I would say your first playthrough, if you don't know like the weakness of enemies, it can be a little challenging. But I'd say it's like an hour or two to get through it. Oh boy. I should heal too. Well, actually, I'll stay hurt because Gunvolt still has this like silly thing where the lady pops up. She doesn't sing. I messed it up. She doesn't sing when you almost die in this one, but she shows up and exists for a little bit. Some of the times. Actually, I might just get a little more health just in case. Ah, yeah, so there she is. Hang in there. But she doesn't sing, so she's just kind of there. I don't know if she even does anything. So. Also, I thought I had invincibility. I have power up is what I have. That's why I'm taking a lot of damage. So let's use some of this food. Ah. There's a lot of like secret doors too where you can come in here, but it's mostly just like extra points for equipping weapons and stuff. None of it really feels required. And I feel like that's kind of this game. Like, I think maybe what I kind of expect out of IntiCreates is a game that like flows really well, and I think this game plays fine, but it's not particularly remarkable in how it plays. And I think the gun customization stuff is really cool in concept, but none of the levels really make use of it in any way. Maybe if you like play on a harder difficulty, it would make sense. But you know, by the time you get a harder difficulty, I think you have to beat the game to get hard. So it's kind of whatever for the most part. But if you just want like a Mega Man style game, I think this is like competent. But I think Mega Man 11 is a lot better game to go after for something like that. Whoops, that ground is death. If you wanted more just like traditional Mega Man, and then like I guess the big thing is like they kind of take away what makes these characters special from their own original games. So like, yes, Gunvolt can use his this thing. And that's fine that it's there, but it's not really like a core mechanic of him, I guess. Like it's just kind of a power, like a extra attack skill he has for the most part. Versus like the actual flash field stuff in Gunvolt, that is I think something that's a lot more associated with that character. And then it's like for Beck, I feel like Beck's really associated with the dash to absorb enemies. And the original Mighty Gunvolt had a tackle, but it just wasn't particularly good, and so you kind of like it makes sense that they got rid of it, but they don't feel like they replace it with anything. I think the thought is that, oh, you have like multiple types of bullets you can make with him, but it's not really like I said, I don't think the bullets are like super useful for anything. So one thing you can do, and I'll go ahead and just pull some stuff up here, is that so with the game you get Copen, or you get Beck and Gunvolt. I'm gonna say Copen over and over and over again, but then there's additional characters that have some interesting movesets. So I think I haven't bought anyone other than Copen yet, and I'll tell you why I'm gonna show you a trailer of Copen real quick before I actually play Copen. But basically, some of these DLC characters are pretty straightforward, or are more of like almost easy mode characters to get through the game with. But I think these characters in particular in this version 1.3 update are the most interesting. You have this character who like basically has like an air tackle and like melee attacks, and they have like a HP bar that's draining all the time, so you have to constantly be hitting enemies and getting health to kind of, you know, maintain your life. I forget if okay, so it's just attacking enemies, so it gets you health back. I couldn't remember if the burst got you health back or if it was just attacking. And then so Copen, I bought him because he has some interesting movement options, where he can basically do his like dash from Gunvolt 2, where he can do the air dash there. And he also has like auto lock-on skills with like that those little pods that fly behind him. He's kind of like a weird Mega Man stand-in almost, where he he gets different weapon types based off, or pods on the back of him based off what enemy or boss you've killed. And that's true in the original Gunvolt, or in Gunvolt 2 as well. And then this lady just kind of plays like a DuckTales character a little bit, where she can pogo stick on everybody, which is pretty alright. So I think I do want to check out all 3 of these characters, because they seem interesting, and all these levels are the same levels. So as far as I know, they haven't released any new levels. And then there's like a bunch of other characters in here that are I think kind of not really worth it. They're just kind of like silly characters you can get, or alternative characters. Not a Puyo character. She's from Galgun. So I was very excited to get Copen, and then I kind of found out that Copen comes with nothing originally. So I don't really know, like, maybe I'm missing something, but as far as I can tell, he doesn't have his dash at this point in the game. And because it's only like an hour-long game, I wonder how long they make you go without getting the dash. Like, I think if I didn't do a stream this week for this game, I probably would have spent more time on Copen just to see if I could find the dash. But I was kind of hoping that was going to be like a core main mechanic for him, but it seems like it's possibly an optional mechanic. It might just be treated like every other weapon customization thing, where it's like, yes, you can have a dash, but it's going to cost you, kind of thing. He does have like his little pods here, but at least at this point of the game, they're so weak that I don't know if they're really worth anything. So I guess what makes me even more concerned is that like in order to equip stuff, you have to get like points. Like in the top left corner, I have the CP, which I have to grind if I want to get more of those. So it's like, if I want to get what makes Copen unique and then also use them effectively, not only do I need to unlock them from beating the levels, I also need to grind them out from like getting these things around to get plus 50 at a time or something. I think that if you beat a stage, you can get plus 300 from the end drop on that. But it seems like it's very, I don't know how to put it. It seems like a lot of work for something that is a relatively short game. So we got something over here I can get. Oops, oops, oh. Thanks, Lola. She turned into her thing. So it just, I don't know. I don't really, like, because you've already played through the game 2 times with Copen and Beck, or Beck and Gunvolt. Jesus, if I can get Beck or Gunvolt's name right. I say as I continue to mess up his name. Like, I think that would be pretty, I think that's like enough times to play this game and feel good, except for the fact that the character just doesn't, like, the characters aren't interesting, those 2 characters in particular. And so like to gate the other characters behind the DLC, it's kind of a little, like, I get it because the DLC came out later, so it's not like this stuff was available from the start, but it's just difficult for me to imagine a world where I play through this game, you know, 5+ more times just to try to get what I can out of Copen and stuff like that. Especially if I have to grind on Copen to get that to work. So I don't know. Again, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's fun. Like this one, I have like it so it programs so it automatically shoots all my energy every time it charges up. So you know, I use this gun more often, and I can also make it like automatically seek onto enemies, so it makes it a lot more useful. But again, I just have to grind out that stuff, which you're naturally going to get some of that while you're playing through the game, but you also need to get like different elemental shots. So when you beat a boss, it's not guaranteed you're gonna get their elemental bullets. You have to specifically select it as a reward, so that also limits the kind of stuff you get. So I don't know, it's just a game that's very focused on wanting you to grind out stuff, unfortunately, and I don't feel like the content really works for that. So, and it's sad because I think that the stuff I see in the trailer with Copen and those other characters is pretty neat to see. but it's just not like a part of their default moveset. You have to earn it. You know, you have to A, pay an extra $2 for it, B, earn it. And by the time you've done that, you probably, you know, played through the game at least 2 or 3 times to get their full moveset kind of thing. But, you know, a lot of that stuff with the DLC stuff is kind of speculation at this point, but it's based off what I've seen so far. That seems the most likely of what's happening here. So maybe I'm completely wrong, but oops, I need to pay attention to this boss fight more. So yeah, and like any other, I don't know if all Mega Man games are like this, or if it's like IntiCreate games are pretty pattern focused. So for the most part, if you're just very aware of the animations and patterns that happen, you can pretty easily, you know, dodge this stuff. Ow. So we'll see if I don't die. Because I don't have his weakness, I just kind of grind through it. But once you get, you know, once you get through your first mighty number, you get their weakness typically. So, and then you can just kind of work through it that way. The last boss is more Gunvolt focused, so you do get a little bit of Gunvolt character in there, but it's mostly Mighty No. 9 stuff. Which, hey, I like Mighty No. 9 a lot. Like, I'm very surprised to see, like, I remember seeing some coverage about this game and people being like, oh, this game's better than Mighty No. 9. And I'm like, I mean, it is okay. I don't know, maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe, like, that bullet customization you can create, like, I'm sure if I look online somewhere, somebody's gone crazy with the bullet customization stuff and figured out some stuff with it, but at least from my experience, the bullet stuff just doesn't seem like it really. Also, this is weird. Usually what you're supposed to do is sit there and shoot the wall to keep those flames from hitting you. But I think his normal shot is too small, so I might need to turn Lola on after that. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've played both of the original games, and I've played Gunvolt too, but I just kind of feel like it's just kind of here. It's just kind of a thing. I mean, admittedly, I think what I want out of Inti games is different than other people, so let's do some actual gun customization. So I think in this case, oh, I can't edit that one, sorry. Beowulf. Let's increase the size of the bullet. Here, let's do some actual... If we increase the size of the bullet, we won't get hit by that flame. So there you go. We did something with the gun customization. That's literally the first time I've thought about the gun customization since the beginning. So, but yeah, I mean, like, I played the original games, and I mean, I mean, if you're a fan, you indeed, yeah, I mean, you indeed, like, I'm sure you're gonna get something out of it. I would say, I mean, maybe I'm of the unaware, but I think the Mighty No. 9 fan base in particular is probably not very big, and so it's cool that the Galgun characters are in here. There's like 3 different Galgun characters in here you can play as. But like in terms of, like, you know, fighting the bosses and stuff, I don't know if you know, there's a lot of people really clamoring for the Mighty No. 9 bosses, like, or stages or music or anything like that, you know? There we go. Back up. And shoot again. So I think the original Mighty Gunvolt probably is a better, like... I think there's a more significant Gunvolt fan base. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that it's a larger fan base. And the original Mighty Gunvolt more focuses on that content. But it also feels like a lesser game. I feel like... I'm doing a bad job. I feel like the original Mighty Gunvolt is very, very limited. And I feel like this game at least feels more like a more significant game. At least in terms of, like, the stage design and the bosses. At least that's how I feel about it. But I also wasn't a big fan of the original Mighty Gunvolt, so maybe it's not surprising. I guess I was hoping that they had kind of done something with the game at this point, and they definitely have, but I don't think it really does what I want from an IntiCreates game, which is, I'd almost say it does the opposite of what I want from an IntiCreates game, which is like, it doesn't really think about how the characters move in the stage, and it like really just kind of throws a gimmick on that really doesn't have any kind of, like, I don't know if value is the right word, but like I guess I can kind of see what they're trying to do with the burst stuff where you get close to enemies, but it feels such like a step back from like what Mighty No.9 has in terms of, like, you know, how you approach enemies and things like that. It just doesn't feel right to me. Like, I feel like it takes, like, these characters from Gunvolt and Mighty No.9 and just kind of puts them in a worse game for the most part. Like it's definitely not as big of a game, obviously, because those games were designed to be much larger packages versus something like this. It's just, you know, it's supposed to be a much smaller thing. But like, I guess my expectations are kind of high after I had played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, admittedly, which came out like a year later. I felt like that game did everything that I felt this game did, and melded it along with like the core IntiCreates design of how they make characters move, and really develop that game to make it feel super unique while still being, you know, true to the original game. It's really something hard to talk about, like, off the top of my head. I know something's wrong here. That's the biggest thing, and I think it has a lot to do with the movement. Doesn't feel like it. So yeah. So like in this case, I can get either a bullet type increase, or I can get fire, so I can actually damage the ice boss easier. So, you know, if I wanted to get all of those, I have to play the stage again. But once you have element stuff, I think more than anything, you want to get the element stuff first, probably, because it's pretty easy to like blow through a boss with even the most basic weapon, as long as you have the element that goes against them. So let's see what we got here. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I don't even mean to come here, actually. It's got a nice look to it, I'll say. It's a nice looking game. What do I want to do? I want to customize my stuff real quick. I want to see if I got anything for him to customize. But I think we have all the same stuff, so that's just, yeah, formation. Like, I don't even know where the dashing comes into play here, to be honest with you. Like, these are all bullet stuff, so I assume it's something down here. Charge attack. Yeah, but that's like the normal charge attack, focus attack formation. So I have to assume it's probably one of these. But that's like Lola's element, Lola's default actions. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. In active mode, and will cease to attack, which is just kind of a weird thing. Formation, rear guard. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I need to spend more time with Copen to really get like a full feeling for it, but I'm just disappointed that, like, I was like, oh, this character looks pretty cool because he does all these things, and then like he just pretty much plays like Beck for the most part at this point. And then it's just like you're gonna have to do a lot of stuff, like you just have to go collect all these items and then go and get these components if you wanna actually play him the way he's kind of meant to be played. Like, and you can see the little dash icon on top of him. They're like, oh, he's got a dash, but when you go in here, I don't see any dash. Maybe I'm wrong. Who can say? If you're watching this later and you have any idea how to set up a dash for Copen, I'm sure somebody will let me know. I'm sure I could Google it and find out, but yeah. So I don't know. This game, yeah. But yeah, I think I'm just a little sad. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, though. I feel like, I mean, at the very least, it really shows me that Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is a very special thing from them in a lot of ways. Because I think Curse of the Moon, maybe even more so than Mighty No.9 and Gunvolt, I think does some really fascinating things. But yeah. Anyways, I won't complain about this game anymore. I think it's fine, though. But I think it just kind of is like a little, maybe like a little fan servicey thing, and that's kind of it. It's in the power plant level. Yeah. Yeah. So a room drops the dash. Yeah. I don't know. It's that kind of reminds me a lot of how like Mega Man X is like, oh, to get the actual movement option of this game, you got to play Chill Penguin first, and then literally everybody just tells you, no, play Chill Penguin first, or else you're not playing this game right. And it's like, yes, but what if I wasn't listening to like 30 billion people to tell me to go play Chill Penguin stage first? That being said, Castlevania 64 is a very similar thing, but what if every level had some kind of caveats? So, I don't know. I guess I just expected more out of this game, and I feel like it didn't really do what I wanted it to do. So, I guess that's it. That's kind of I didn't feel like I'd be so negative on this one. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. So, I don't want to say that it's like a bad game or anything. But it's not a IntiCreates quality of game in the way that Mighty No. 9, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, and Gunvolt 1 and 2 are. So, is my feeling. So, yeah. I need to check out Blaster Master Zero still at some point. Someday. One day. And then I have Dragon Mark for Death right here. So, hopefully this is good too. We shall find out. That's it for this week. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out for the whole time, Zero. Anthony, if you're still here, thanks for coming and telling me about your dog training. You should tell me about your dog training more. Video games. I like video games. I'm gonna go do something. Yeah, video games. I'm gonna go do something that is not talking on the internet. I'm gonna go take a shower, I think, and just chill in the shower for a bit. So, you guys have a good night, and hope. I guess next week we'll just start on something smaller. Maybe play Bomberman. Hopefully I'm feeling better too. But yeah. I don't think we're gonna do Zelda again. I don't really want to do more Zelda. So we'll see though. We'll see. Have a good night.